What's up, YouTube? It's been a while. Welcome back, and welcome if you are new to my channel. My name is Mariah, and today I want to talk about the alternative to all religions. And you know why I was like triggered again to make this video? Because I have other videos like this, but I find it is worth repeating. Is because Ruben, my fiance, had a little Joe Rogan video, podcast, whatever, playing in the background, and he was listening to an interview with somebody, can't remember his name, but they were talking about how they really wanted a religion, but none of them made sense, and so it didn't really like make sense to be religious, therefore. And I can really subscribe to that. Like, I can really understand that feeling of wanting not only a community, but like a narrative, a story that drives you forward. Because I've found that through my life, I have some incense here, nothing's burning other than the incense. I found that through my life that I've wanted the same thing, and I was brought up Christian, and I thought, you know, this is just what it should be for me, and maybe my definition of God should expand to expand more of my experience. But the definition that I had of God was, as most people, was Sky Daddy, of Father God, who is up in the sky, looking down on you, judging you, taking a list, checking it twice. Holidays are over now. And just that he's keeping score of everything, and he's going to punish you, and if you don't follow his rules, then you're going to end up in a fiery inferno with the rest of your life, and probably with your friends if I don't know. But this is the image that it paints across not just Christianity. You have to remember that there are Abrahamic religions, and these are the ones I'm talking about because these are the most dominant and the most prevalent and the ones that affect society the most. Why do we have things often shut down or less hours on Sunday? Because of Christianity, you know, and it is an Abrahamic religion, and so is Judaism, and so is Islam. They all follow the same book, and they all follow the same Sky Daddy in his truest sense. Like, Christianity has the New Testament, but the other Abrahamic religions don't. They have the Old Testament, and that is who they follow. They follow that jealous, angry, spiteful, rude AF God who is the one judging you and is telling you can do this, 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 but you can't do this, and if you eat something like this way, then you're gonna be a sinner, and you're gonna have to burn in hell, and if you do something this way, but you can do it this way, and you can get around it like this, and you can come and tell me everything, and then I'll let you get away with it. And it doesn't make sense because it was created as a method of control. However, the interesting part is that I do believe that Sky Daddy is a real figure. I do think he's real. However, I don't believe or subscribe to the idea that the Abrahamics do, that he is the be-all, the end-all, alpha, omega, beginning and end, Jesus Christ, what have you, that he's all of those things. I don't think that's true. Because I found another story. Sorry, I've got some fuzz bothering me. Also probably the smoke. And the story that I want to share comes from the ancient Gnostics and has been revived by the lovely Mr. John Lamb Lash. I would never tell this story without mentioning him because I found the story through him. He has an amazing book called Not in His Image. If anything I'm talking about is like tickling you a little bit, check out his book, Not in His Image. He just made a new edition with some revisions, and it's incredible. It's really life-changing, the information that's in there, because he cites everything very academically. He gives you sources you can look up on your own, and he tells you this is where the information comes from, which is what I'm about. I've got an academic background. I need footnotes, baby. I need to follow up. So this story that he has pieced together comes from ancient Gnostic sources. It also comes from other kind of primary sources where it's contemporary to a long time ago saying that this is what the Gnostics believed and this is why we need to defeat them. You know, that is a source at that time. However, with the burning of the Library of Alexandria, we don't have a lot to go on. But in 1945, these scrolls were found, and there was 13 of them. Hello, goddess, that's a goddess number. And they were unearthed in Nag Hammadi, Egypt. And they were picked up, I believe it's like by a boy, and he was going to use it for kindling for his family because he needed to set a fire. And somebody recognized the I guess the material, and said, no, wait, that looks like a scripture. Let me see what it is. Let me translate it. Let me read it. And a lot of it is fragmented. However, there's a really good story in there, and there's some that are just kind of mixed, and you have to think of it like the Bible. Like the Bible's just a bunch of books put together that a bunch of dudes said, yes, this one's in, this one's not, this one's in, this one's not. And it's, what I think is that some of these books that were found in Nag Hammadi were just ones that were not included in the Bible, but they were written probably around the same time. I don't know if they've been exactly dated, but it has some of the writers that are also in the Bible. And, you know, one of the books is called the Sophia of Jesus Christ. And that is exactly it. These are the books that illustrate in really clear ways that there is a goddess figure, and that her name is Sophia. And you may recognize her name in the Bible because the Book of Solomon has something called the Book of Wisdom. And wisdom is the English word for Sophia, Sophia being wisdom in Greek. So that is really her name. You know, I've seen people and they go from the Book of Wisdom, and I'm like, wait, like take it the next step further. Don't just take it at face value and think, okay, you know, Solomon was very wise and he thinks that wisdom is running through everything and ordering everything, and that wisdom is a beautiful woman and all this stuff. Well, you know what? Like maybe he actually means that. Maybe he really does mean that there is a figure and her name is Wisdom, and she can sweetly order all things in your life. And that isn't like the normal Bible. So there's like little pieces that have made it through. I want to say that the fear of Babylon is also the fear of the goddess. That is also why Thelemic societies, I want to say that was popularized by Aleister Crowley, and you know, he's got his own stuff going on. But the Thelemics worship Babylon and Sophia and the goddess, and it's kind of like a more secret thing because it's where the truth is. You know, they don't want to broadcast the truth of the matter, that actually we've known that the one who's in charge, the one who's running things, let's say, sweetly ordering all things. I love that little phrase from the Book of Solomon, Book of Wisdom, sorry, is actually a female figure. I wonder why the church has persecuted women for years and years and years and years. Maybe it's because we actually are the ones that have the power, and it's not that men don't have power. It's that their power comes from women who are not only interacting with and listening to our planet, but you came through the legs of a woman. And all men, every person, when you're first born, for 2 months, you're a female. Like, come on, you have to be a woman to bring stuff into this realm, to be in this realm, and then I want to say to have success in this realm. To think about like the most successful CEOs and people who are, you know, who have really like cracked the code of life, it's typically because they might be a guy in front, but they might be listening to their wife behind the scenes, or they have that really strong partnership, and that nourishment coming from a woman is what really allows success to be grounded and to be realized in a way that is helpful not only for you but for other people. So got a little sidetracked there, but in the Nag Hammadi Codices, this is where the story is found, the story of Sophia. And so what John Lamb Lash did was just kind of take some of that, find some other primary sources of Irenaeus saying like, oh, these heretic Gnostics, this is what they believed in. And from his own experience with Gnosticism, he put together a beautiful story. And I am going to give you the quick little rundown of this story because I can guarantee you it's nothing like you've ever heard. You might have seen some like snippets of it in Hollywood movies because I find that like Hollywood knows this, absolutely, and they make their stories this all the time. Even, you know, The Matrix is always tagged as being Gnostic. I don't necessarily, like, you know, there's a new version of Gnosticism that I want to say these same people have hijacked to make it seem like we're trapped in a prison planet and that there's no way out, just like the Sky Daddy God wants you to believe as well. And that's just not true. So where does he come from? Who is Sophia? Whatever. Let's start at the beginning. And the very beginning of our story, the story that pertains to humans, this is what we're talking about. I don't want to get so lost in here, there, and everywhere else, and etc. Because if we don't figure out what is happening with humans and our planet right here, then none of that matters. It's just all hearsay and speculation and stories that don't move us forward, stories that just keep us in a loop. And that's what they want. They want to keep us in a loop, really. And the story that I want to tell is that in the beginning, the very, very beginning, there is a center. You know, we can all agree on that. We can agree that there is a place that, you know, would have started everything. And this, even by science, is our galactic core. It is the center of our galaxy. Sorry, Ruben's video is playing in the background. But whatever, we're not meditating. So the center of our galaxy is a place. It's a place that's been located, and it's through Sagittarius, and that's something else interesting. And it smells a certain way. It even has a certain taste. And what the Gnostics called this place, the very center of the core of our galaxy, is called the pleroma. Now, if you know anything about Gnosticism, you've probably heard that before, and it's a Greek word and it means the fullness, the everything, right? So, and what John Lamb Lash details and has extrapolated, and I found it really resonates, especially in the whole of the story, is that there are giant creator beings that exist through the pleroma, and they are the ones that are making creations such as humans, such as different animals, and how they're doing it is kind of a bit too much, but just in a nutshell, they receive little energy packets, and by nature of them being these giant creative beings, they're not really humans. They're like these big torrents of energies, and they exist in male-female pairs. And when they get a little packet of information, they are like scientists, and they will make it into something else. And it's done in the male-female pair, and they dance around and they make these creations. And it's not unlike what scientists do today. They spin a lot of stuff to get better stuff, and then they make it into these in little nucleic packets. And once they have that full of whatever proteins, the building blocks of life, then they send it through the galactic core, all the way through on a filament, and it'll go in a certain place in our galaxy where it will go to gestate and gain life and become a creation. It's an experiment. So for the purposes of our video, sorry, I just want to show the way. For the purposes of our video and our story, we want to know how humans got here. So the male-female pair that made the humans is Sophia, and the male is called Thelete by John Lamb Lash. I've heard some people call him the Christos. You can if you want. I guess they don't really have names, so whatever you put on them is whatever you want. But I really love thinking of Sophia as this, because she is that female counterpart of a partnership that created the beautiful human genome. Like, there's nothing more complex, more freaking amazing than the human body. I feel like we can all agree on that. Like, it is, you can't replicate it. They're trying to make robots right now. And it's funny, you will find that the first robot who has citizenship, her name is Sophia. They just laugh. They know the story and they just laugh in our faces. So, this is where the story gets interesting. Sophia and Thelete were trying to help humans succeed, basically. And there had been 10 or 11, I think there had been 9 trials of the Anthropos, the human genome, that didn't work. And Sophia, being a caring mother, is like, how do I get this to work? How can I make my creation really thrive in the way that they were created to? And see, the issue is that she is a creative force, and with her mind thinking of this, even just thinking of this on her own without her male counterpart, she actually like shot herself into the galaxy through the pleroma all by herself, carrying the human genome, because by nature she is creative. So that's like law of attraction kind of stuff. If you start to think about something and you just even send a thought out, like, somewhere it's going to gestate. And if you keep thinking, then it can come back to you. Now, Sophia is on a scale unlike us, and it was just immediate. She is that creative force, and it sent her through the pleroma, through the galactic core, into the Kenoma, into the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy. So if you watch Electric Universe Theory, this is the entrance of Venus. This is the entrance of the goddess into the experiment. And because she entered into the experiment as an accident without her male counterpart, she ended up creating a deficiency of the male, because she didn't make this move with her male partner. And that deficiency had sent off like an aborted fetus, some like offshoot, an expel of matter, of energy that she did not plan for. And this was literally like the inverted male, like just evil, just like nasty. And this inverted male is the Old Testament God. And you can see this in the Gnostic texts. My favorite, that is a good summary of all of this, is on the origin of the world. You can go on gnosis.org and find that book in different translations. And what it says is, she saw him and she was like, oh no, honey, no, I'm busy. Like, I'm falling through space, cannot deal with this. She sent him off, she covered him in clouds, and she said, like, not great, not ideal. And eventually he found himself on his own, just by himself, and he found that he had a little semblance of that creative power that his mother had. Now, he was born outside of the pleroma without intention, so he is not the same as humans. He doesn't have as much power as we do. He was made as an accident. He has a tiny sliver of Sophia's power because he comes from her body. And just that is enough, though. So he started to create like his minions. He started to make like little worker bees, and he put them into like 7 categories, or he made 7 main ones, whatever. And he was like, I'm the only one here. Don't see anybody else. You'll have nobody else before me. Don't even say anything because I'm jealous. Like, who is that? Obviously we know who that is, right? I just found myself a bit. And that is when Sophia rose up from beneath, because he's kind of blind. He doesn't have full capacities. And she was like, I am here, brother son. I'm here. I made you. I have a lot more power than you. And actually just like leave me alone. Like, just like stay where I left you. and do your own thing and everything's fine. No problem. Just do whatever you need to do. I'm going to do what I need to do. We'll just call it, and great, you have life now. There you go. You're welcome. And of course, that's not what happened. And he saw with his minions, he saw her power and was like, oh, I need to get some of that. I need to get some of that. So as Sophia is still barreling through space, she is getting like like just like attacked by they call him the Demiurge and his archons, this Yahweh and his minions, this, you know, a mistake. And she is still carrying the human genome with her. And because the Demiurge and the archons just really want to like just make sure that he's the only one, so they're trying to get her, and she's like bro, like you can't, but whatever. They do work to kind of knock her off her lane of concentration. And what that does is it shears the human template, and therefore we have the separation of the sexes. And what Sophia kept with her in her body is the female part. She had sheared the male part, and she was like, oh no, like I have this, I have to deposit it somewhere so that it gains life. What should I do? And she thinks, okay, yeah, there is a space that I know, it's close to where I am. And so she heads to the Orion star system, which is why so many male-based secret societies worship the Orion star system. It's why pyramids line up to them and stuff like that. She deposits the male genome in the Orion star system and just like leaves it there to gestate. And that is where in human prehistory, men gain life. They gain it not on Earth. They gain it somewhere that is not as dense as Earth, somewhere that is more like airy and trancy and wizardry. Like there's magic in this place, and this is where men are from. You know, so it's not that men don't have their own special things, like they really do. And, you know, men and women are meant to be together. It was just got sheared because of a mistake from the god that everybody's worshiping. I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people. So anyways, Sophia is still continuing. She's like, okay, I'll leave that there. That's safe. I've got the female with me. This is safe. And she is continuing to travel through space, and she's like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And so she thinks to herself, she's like, okay, idea, 3-body system. And so as she's doing that, the archons notice and they kind of trap her in their fake constructions that they've made. And those constructions are actually the 7 planets around us. Those are the archons. So thank you guys, thanks for that. And that is why when people like, I'm into astrology too. I think it's fun and it's interesting, but when people say like, oh my god, like this is gonna happen, it's because of Venus and because of Mars and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, there's more to the story than just these little planets like hanging around. You know, think of why they don't have life. I do believe that archons can defect, and this is also in the text, that they will see what happened and they will go, actually, you know what, buddy that like technically made me, you're not actually like the original creator here, so I'm going to defect to the mother, and like we're done, you know, like that does happen. And I do believe that that is what happened with Venus, and you know, whatever, the sun also I think could be a part of that. And so she gets captured in their system, and what does she do? She tucks her body with the female genome still attached. This is really, really important. She tucks her body. She calls the sun. She calls the moon. Or the moon came from Earth. That's obviously debated. And she became the Earth. She became our planet that we live upon, that we exist upon, that we play upon, that we experience magic upon, is the goddess that created us. That is why if you ever hear me talk about, you know, when I pray or whatever, I always say Gaia Sophia, because Gaia is our planet. She is the materialness that we experience every day, but her soul is that Sophia is from the pleroma, just like we are from the pleroma. She created us there. And she gave us material life by becoming our planet. And this is why there is so much magic here, because she is always Like her mind is like, you cannot, like, it's just a scale that you just like can't even think of. And the size of her, and just the amount of things that have to get done. This is like Solomon's saying that she sweetly orders everything. It's just something that our minds cannot comprehend and don't need to, frankly. This is the infinite intelligence that law of attraction refers to. This is the universe that the law of attraction refers to. Is this mother of our species who became our planet Earth to sustain us and give us life. And in every moment that we breathe, we are inside of her skin. And I'll even go so far as to say that when we die, we don't even leave. We stay here, and we stay here on a different level, on a different dimension, and we are still with her. We are still with her. We're still with each other all the time, and that's why ghosts are real. That's why elves are real. That's why there's all this other stuff. Like, there are layers and layers and layers of stuff happening, but humans are the epitome of creation in that we can experience all of it. And we can communicate with each other, and we can communicate with our mother. We can communicate with our planet. And this is also why, like, when she fell with the female genome, this is why women became so important, because she is a woman. She is here as woman. She is here as our planet. And now our planet's not just some ball in the sky. It is much, much more than that. She probably morphs to how we see her, because, and this is something else, this is quantum physics, baby. All this stuff is true. It is all real. That we observe, and the feedback is what's real to our eyes, but it's that human touch, the human observation of things that make it a reality. Now, Sophia is just, she's broadcasting all the time on all of our different levels that we don't see or hear or whatever, but we tune in and we can. And this is why when people do DMT or they do drugs like that, they say the first thing I met was the mother, and they're like, what's the mother? And you're like, do drugs and you'll find out. But you don't need to do drugs. You really don't need to do drugs. You just need to learn the story of who she is and where she comes from. And when you learn that story, I promise you, because I have experienced this myself, and I've experienced it alongside other people who have been like, oh, like, I don't think she's gonna talk to me. I don't think it's gonna like be real. And then as soon as you like calm down and you start to appreciate the vessel that you have, that she has made, and the gifts that she is constantly giving you, like, that's something else. Like, this green Tara, this is her as well. Like, she has so many expressions that humans observe in different cultures, and therefore that observation becomes that expression of her. It's a two-way street, baby. It's not that she needs us. She doesn't, to survive, but she made us, and she would like for us to thrive. She would like for us to experience love and beauty and relationships and happiness and joy. Those are all things that she wants for us, and she can give them to us. She just wants us to know who she is, because when we do that, it's like, and I remember my experience was when I first learned this, I started to like have crazy dreams where she would be unlocking certain things. I would have meditations where my heart would, she would just open it up, and you know, it would be something completely new and nothing I prepared for. And that's her thing. That's her thing, baby, is that you just really, all you need to do is to basically like listen to this video and get to know her and understand that there is a whole other entirely different story that you might not have heard before, that details where she comes from, where you come from, what the other planets are, why there is a separation of the sexes, why men and women are so different but like so not different. A part I was missing of the story was that men came here, they traveled here on like the filaments that the Pleuromics use, the aeons, sorry, the aeons is what you call them. And they came here and they became kings because they were anointed by the priestesses, the ones who talk to our planet Earth. These are oracles. Oracles in ancient Greece, they didn't just like, you know, psychobabble nothing. They consulted with Gaia, the Earth Mother, Gaia Sophia, and you'll just see her as Gaia, but they talk to Gaia. And Gaia is the one that tells them all of their, you know, their oracles and their psychic things, right? Like this has been going on forever. Since the beginning, God was a woman, and we have just been hijacked by her little pesky rugrat of an accident son who is just like, make the people paranoid, make them mad, make them angry, make them fight, because that is the energy that he wants for us, because he's jealous. He's jealous of us. He's like that, you know, the son, I can't explain it any better than this. Like the son that you didn't want and is a loser and is so annoying, versus the amazing, achieving, beautiful child that was intended, right? Like, and so that little pesky one is going to be jealous. And unfortunately, he's been jealous on such a grand scale and has accessed so many minds via the mind virus and the frequencies that are coming from these planets, that, you know, it does get some people, and it has got a lot of people. But what I'm saying is, if you're somebody and you're like, actually, no, that's not for me, I know there's something else, then I think this is for you. And once you learn that, once you know her story, you'll start finding other resources just kind of come into your life. You'll see a book and you'll go, oh, I need to read that. Or you'll find a meditation, you'll be like, oh, I need to listen to that. Or you'll just drop into meditation yourself. Or you'll have crazy dreams that are totally out of your control. And it's when Sophia just comes to you and she's like, here I am. And it is slow. And I would say that if you're going to start anywhere, start by knowing her story. Read on the origin of the world at gnosis.org, or I'll make a link in the description box. But really, the first step that anybody needs to do is just go out in nature. Appreciate some trees. Go in the forest. Get some flowers for your home. These little things, like even talk to your plant that you have in your home. These tiny little things are Gaia, and obviously Gaia is everywhere, but I find that just the vibration of plants and connecting with them it is just so grounding for the human body, that it's like, okay, once you're grounded and relaxed and settled, then that is when Gaia Sophia can come in and be like, hey, like, I was here the whole time and you didn't notice, but now you're starting to notice, which is great. That's basically what it is, and that's what everybody's told me that does it. And another thing you can do is just a little tweak, is instead of thanking the universe or thanking infinite intelligence or whatever, start to thank Gaia Sophia. Start to say, hey, thank you, wisdom, if you want. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Sophia. And it's not like you would be the first to do it. Like, there are, Orthodox is all into Sophia. They have her everywhere. And once you start to do that, it's like the little synapses in your brain start to connect again, and you can see her. But when you are stuck in the rat race, when you're stuck in paranoia, when you're stuck in fear, which is why the media wants to make you so scared all the time, it's like, even if she is there, you just don't see her. You just have blinders on. It's like how we don't see like microwave frequencies. You know, we don't know when, or like we don't see the heat that is making things heat up, but it's there and you take it out and it burns you. So connect to Gaia Sophia in a way that is literally just an intention, just being like, hey, I heard your story. It was really freaking cool. Show me that it's true. Show me how beautiful life gets when I'm working with you. Show me who I am. Show me I am the star of your story. And baby, you're like, people are just going to be looking at you down the street and they're going to be like, what happened? Like, who is that? Why is she so shiny and sparkly? Why is he looking so confident? And it's because you cracked the code. You cracked the code. And like, this is basically religion and law of attraction, that next step further, that is allowing our planet to hold us in a way that she always wanted to, in a way that was meant to be. We're not just meant to figure everything out on our own. No. That's why law of attraction exists. Really, like, it is a thing, and people definitely do it, but when you can realize the why and the who of what is behind it, and just know that it's the same power that has been keeping you alive with oxygen and with food and with water and with your body this entire time, your life just starts to, it just starts to bloom. It really, you have this blooming effect. And John Lamb Lash told me once, he was like, we reach people so she can teach people. It's not my job to teach you what you need to know specifically. I don't know what you need to know. It is my job to create the bridge. It's a two-way street, baby. There's two ways here. It's not like guys, if I can just come in and hijack your life. That's not how it works. It's a two-way street. So I like kind of build that street for you. And I go, hey, come with us. Come for a little walk. And see what she says for you specifically, because it's going to be different than what she says to me. It's going to be different than what she says to somebody else. And she's going to, like, the realizations I've had, it's just been like, okay, like, that is so specific to me. Nobody else will tell me that. And suddenly, like, I get it. You know, I get it now. And she has made miracles become real in my life. And I know that she can do it for you. And that is why I share that very, very special story, because it's a beautiful narrative. And not only is it narrative, but it's one that becomes alive and it moves with you when you learn it. And you learn of Gaia Sophia. She becomes real in your life and your life starts to change. And that is all I wish for all of you. Let me know if this resonates at all. Let me know if you have experienced this in your life. I know that people have, and I know that doesn't happen overnight. With my own experience. And probably, this is what blocked me for the biggest time, was like hating my body and hating myself. And I started to like pick up on Sophia, and I had a relationship with Gaia for like a year already, where I was meditating with her every day. Like that kind of relationship. And I started to kind of be like, oh, like Sophia, like, yeah, like whatever. And the message that I got then was, love your body. Love your body. It was literally like, I would be in the shower and I would just be like, love your body, love your body, love your body, love your body. And I was like, why? Yeah. Like, I've had such a hard time with my body and just accepting who I am and weight and things like that, you know, girly things. And it was when I was finally like, you know what? I accept my body for who I am. And I'm grateful that my body has carried me to where I am today. And as soon as I did that, it was like I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that book about Sophia, or I'm going to watch that video about Sophia. And it's just, I started to hear it. I could actually hear it then. You have to bring your body online. If you're a girl watching this and you're like, I could never love my body, just like fake it for a little bit. Be nice to your body for like a day, and that includes working out. But you know, you got to feed your body, you have to nourish your body, you have to take care of your body, because this is the beautiful vessel that Sophia worked so hard on and came here to be your planet, to be your setting, to allow you to experience it. So when we have love for that, and that is really all she wants for us. When we have love for that, we are blooming in a way that we hear her, in a way that we can see her, in a way that we can understand her, in a way that she can reach us and take us that next step, because she is going to move us forward. If you feel like you're running around in circles and not getting anywhere, then really start with your body. Say thank you to my body. I love my body for bringing me where I am today. And then go for a walk in nature and say thank you to our planet. Thank you to Earth for being here and giving us life. And then your next step is just being like, Sophia, I am ready. And Sophia, she lives in you all the time. She is your inner voice. She is that wisdom inside of you. And you just say like, Sophia, I'm ready to see all of the beauty that you have and that you're ready to express in my life, and that I can express in every sense in this material world, spiritual, psychic, whatever you want to call it, in every sense, in every way. And watch how beautiful your life becomes, because that's all they're waiting for. They're just waiting for you to be like, yeah, I see you, I acknowledge this. Now let's make some freaking beauty, baby, because that's what it's all about. Beauty, love. Beauty really is love and care in motion. And that's what we have to get back to. No more cutting corners and making things ugly. Like, no, you are beautiful. I am beautiful. Life is beautiful. And the most beautiful story requires you to be a part of it. And how amazing is that? Pretty amazing. So let me know if it resonates. Let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, just pop them down. I love answering people. Yeah, I have some meditations if you want to connect with Gaia Sophia specifically. They're on my channel. I'll probably make some more soon, but I just wanted to give like another spiel of this story because it is, in my opinion, the most beautiful story ever told.